The Sims 2 is my favorite Sims game, and it's the only one I consistently really play. I have tried The Sims 4, I have tried The Sims 3, but none of them has really been able to capture me as much as The Sims 2 has been. And in this video I'm going to tell you why. Hi, I'm Pixu and I really like running my mouth about The Sims. And I'm just going to plug my socials real quick. Feel free to follow my Twitter and my Instagram to see more of my unsolicited opinions throughout the week, even when I'm not uploading videos. Oh yeah, also I try to upload twice a week now, so hit the subscribe button. Okay, so I'm going to talk about why I prefer The Sims 2 over The Sims 3 and The Sims 4. And first of all, I want to say this is all going to be nothing but my personal opinion. Things that I have based on nothing but my own personal experience. I am not going to talk objectively about the flaws of The Sims 4. I feel like that gets talked about enough. This time I want to put things into more of a personal perspective. I'm not going to pretend that every morning I wake up and I look out my window and I see a whole mob of people with signs in their hands demanding an explanation as to why I don't play The Sims 4. But it has happened before that people on the internet have asked me why I still play The Sims 2 if I could just play The Sims 4. Why I still bother with setting up The Sims 2 on Windows 10? Why do I put up with all the limitations of The Sims 2? Why don't I at least play The Sims 3? And for me, the reasons are really personal and subjective. So my two reasons that I'm going to go into the details of are the look and feel of the game and how it suits my playstyle a lot better than The Sims 3 or 4. So let's start with look and feel. What I mean by this is I actually really love The Sims 2 graphics. But not only that, I also really find the UI, the animations, the overall feel of the game to be really enjoyable. And it's made up of these small things that I'm not sure other people will understand, but for example, I really like clicking in The Sims 2. I love it when you're in live mode and you click on an object with a sim and the menu comes up and it comes up so quick and you can see your sim move their head and they move their head so quickly. It's so pleasurable to me. And I also love the queue. I love how simple it is. In The Sims 4, this might just be like due to the fact that I have not played it very much. But the way the queue works is just confusing to me for some reason. Sometimes I feel like I can't even control my Sims because they just drop the actions from their queues. Sometimes they seem like they take ages to get to the action that I have queued up for them. And I know that this might be also due to simulation lag, which is one of those things in The Sims 4, by the way, that really drives me away from it. So I also love the animations. I love how smooth and dynamic they feel in The Sims 2. And that is not something I was able to get back from The Sims 3 or 4. You know how they recycled a lot of animations from The Sims 2 into The Sims 3. And yet in The Sims 3 they just feel so weirdly lifeless to me. And in The Sims 4 I cannot stand the missing animations for stuff like putting the plate down on the table. The way the plate just jumps from the hand onto the table, like it just teleports. That is so off-putting to me. And oh my god, one of my biggest problems with both The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 is the lighting. Somehow in The Sims 2, even if a room doesn't have a light or doesn't have a window, you can still see what's going on in it. You can still see the color of things. I know it's not the most realistic thing, you know, like in real life if you were in a dark room you would not see objects, but I feel like in The Sims it really comes handy to see objects for what they are, even in an unlit room. And in The Sims 3 and 4, I think especially The Sims 3, it feels like a normal amount of windows and lamps is just not enough to properly light up a room. And yes, I know you can use lighting mods. Generally, I know you can use mods for most things that I'm saying, but I don't know why I would go breaking my neck to try to upgrade these games to a level where I can enjoy them as much as I already enjoy another game. See, I have many reasons for why I play The Sims 2 and not The Sims 3 and 4, and I could try to go and try to find a solution to every single problem in The Sims 3 and 4, but there are so many of them, and I don't understand why I would do that when I can literally just go play The Sims 2 and be happy with it. So yeah, I was talking about clicking, animations, lack of animations, darkness. I also really love the UI. I love the way it looks, and I have not replaced it with the clean UI, nor am I really planning to. It feels just so comfortable. It's familiar, it's simple, and I also want to talk about the general look of The Sims and of the world. Now, okay, I'm gonna say this one thing. The Sims 3 and 4 worlds are gorgeous. Neighborhood decoration, so lovely. The way you can see all the scenery from lot view, lovely. But the way the Sims look is just so unappealing to me in both of these games. I think we all know what people say about the Sims 3 Sims. You know, they look like balloons, pudding. And they do, in fact, look like that. The Sims 4 has it a bit better, I think. But still, to me, they look a bit too... I don't know how to say this. Clay. Clay is what the hair textures in The Sims 4 are called. At least when I look at 4:2 converted custom content for The Sims 2, I can see that people call it clay because yeah, it indeed looks like it's made of clay. And I personally can say the same thing about the general look of The Sims, not just hair, not just clothing. I cannot tell you why, it's just not appealing to me. I love how The Sims 2's art style didn't try to be overly realistic like The Sims 3 or overly simple like The Sims 4. It was such a good in-between, and it managed to capture something in those Sims that I really love. And I cannot tell you what. It's just such a subjective thing. I love the way the Sims walk, I love the way they change their faces, I just love the way it feels so much. And yeah, by this point I have replaced every single Max's hair in The Sims 2, I have replaced most clothing, and I have loads of custom content, and I use mods to make the world feel prettier and more realistic. Yeah, I do these things, but take into consideration first that I have played this game for like 8 years before using any custom content, any mods, and I felt like I wasn't lacking anything. And second, obviously, once you go on the internet and you start to see all this custom content, all of this cool stuff handed to you on a plate, why would you not accept it? Why would you not want to make something already good better? Custom content just makes The Sims 2 better for me. That doesn't mean I wouldn't like it without custom content. And like I said, still talking about the look and feel of the game, it really is in all of the small things together for me. I love the way I can move the camera. I also do not use a camera mod in Lot View. I use one for the neighborhood screen because it's convenient, but while playing I really just love the default Maxis camera. I love the way I can move it. I love the way it slides and all of those things. And even like incredibly small things like hair gravity. It really adds to the enjoyability of the game for me. I really love just watching my Sims do things because it looks so nice. It feels so nice. There are probably a couple of things I'm forgetting here. Like, yeah, I could talk about how much I hate The Sims 3 saving screen. God, I hate it. Or like how big of a fan I am of the really simple and easily digestible relationship change thing is above Sims heads in The Sims 2, whereas for example in The Sims 3 I really hate the sparkling things that come with it. I feel it's so unnecessary. I prefer simplicity when it comes to the execution, I guess. I don't prefer simplicity when it comes to the depth of the game, the emotions of The Sims, the personalities of The Sims, which we all know are a bit lacking in The Sims 4. But before I start to talk about playstyle, I want to say about everything I just said here, about my personal preference for the look and feel of The Sims 2. I do not know what's wrong with me. It is just the way I am. I have only ever been able to play games that really had this dynamic, captivating feel. And if that means only games from 2004, then it means only games from 2004. I'm not ashamed to say that I like all games. Alright, let's move on to the more interesting part, which is why The Sims 2 fits my playstyle so much better than The Sims 3 or 4. Overall, I would just say that it's such a good game for control freaks like me. Here's the funny part, right? So a lot of people, they talk about limitations when it comes to The Sims 2. They say, why don't inactive Sims age? Why don't they progress? Why does time not sync up like in The Sims 4? Why is it not open world? And these things are actually positives for me. Because I like to play rotationally. I like to play every single household in the neighborhood. And I like to play them myself. I think I spent most of my childhood playing The Sims 2 with autonomy off. I literally did not care about what my Sims wanted to do. I only wanted to do what I wanted to do. I controlled all aspects of their lives. Now, I'm no longer exactly like that. I do play based on my Sims' wants and fears, and their personality and their hobbies and their interests. I take everything about a sim into consideration when I make decisions for them, and I do also use autonomy now. It was kind of hard to get used to it, and it still annoys me a lot because I get frustrated when my Sims start doing something while I'm not paying attention, but I'm getting used to it, I guess. So I just want to say that I really, really like having control. Even if I am now a lot more in cooperation with my Sims than I used to be. So in my regular gameplay, I just don't like things like story progression. And I don't like the thought of other Sims aging while I'm not playing them. Obviously, you can turn this off in The Sims 3 and 4. But one thing that you cannot really turn off, I think, is how every time you enter a lot again, your Sims will be doing something else either way. Like, they will not be how you left them. Days of the season and days of the week also pass while you're not playing a lot. And that is not appealing to me. I like to go around all the households and play each of them for the same amount of days. So obviously when it comes to playstyle, one of the biggest factors is wants and fears. I now pay a lot of attention to my Sims' wants and fears. I'm not saying I always do every single thing that they want, or that I never do things that they don't want. But what I do, I always do it staying consistent to a Sim's personality, at least. Anyway, so you know how it is with The Sims 4 and Vims. You cannot really play based on Vims in The Sims 4. So that's kind of the end of the discussion here. Memories also play a huge part in how I play, especially when it comes to starting to play with pre-made Sims, family trees, genealogy, all things that I really, really love in The Sims 2, especially genetics. Yeah, I really, really love genetics in The Sims 2. And one of the best parts about playing a neighborhood rotationally is also getting to see how your Sims get into relationships with each other within the neighborhood, and then what kind of babies they make, and how those babies will resemble their parents or maybe their grandparents. All this stuff is really, really exciting to me in The Sims 2. Now, I don't think that lifespans are exceptionally good in The Sims 2 by default. And yeah, I do not like that your Sims have to go to university to be a young adult, unless you use mods, of course, which I do. But same thing with lifespans, you can mod it. A good thing in The Sims 3 is how you don't need mods to modify the lifespan. But even in The Sims 2, I don't think it's complicated to download somebody else's custom lifespan or configure your own. But the one thing I really love about age in The Sims 2 is how pregnant Sims age normally. Let's just say it drives me up the wall. How in The Sims 4, your Sim stops aging for 3 days when they are pregnant. That way, their age will be completely out of sync with everybody else. That is not convenient for rotational gameplay at all. And yeah, I know you can use mods to fix it. I use MC Command Center to fix it. But again, why would I go and continuously take those extra steps to play a game that I don't even really like playing? See, even if everything was perfect in The Sims 4, if everything worked as I wanted it to, I would still not enjoy playing it. Because of the graphics, the animations, it just doesn't feel satisfying. So I'm not gonna go and do all of this extra effort for a game that is not gonna make me happy in the end anyway. And that's just, once again, just my personal opinion. Not even an opinion. I don't even know if you can call this an opinion, because it's not like how I see things. It's not what I really think of how things are. It's just something that I do because of the way I am. It's literally just a me problem. And yeah, one more thing I want to say about time in The Sims 2. So you know how when you go to community lot, it kind of feels like time stops for that period. When you go back home with your sim, it will still be the same time as when they left. This was one thing that actually did annoy me in The Sims 2, back when I was playing the game unmodded. But luckily, there is a perfect mod for this that makes things work just exactly how I want them to. And that is the Community Time mod by Chris Hatch, that I talk about quite in depth in this video. It's the first mod I mentioned in that video, and I go on about it quite long. So basically, this mod just makes it so that you get to play the sim who goes to a community lot and the sims who stayed behind on the home lot separately, but during the same game hours. So you don't have to miss out on anything. And it also isn't overwhelming to manage sims on the community lot and at home at the same time. It is just perfect for someone like me. Some people prefer to use the time sync mod that comes with the story progression mod made by Liz Duchess. I don't. I like to be there for every waking hour of all of my sims. And this mod just makes it function so well and so realistically. Another thing, unplayable character aging. I actually like it in The Sims 2 that I get to grow up townies in my own pace, which may seem like it kind of contradicts my obsession with realism. And yeah, I guess it kind of does, but it also kind of does not. If there are townies in my neighborhood, I like to use them when there is need to use them. And by this, I mean some townies never really get used, they just spend all of their life walking around the neighborhood and doing nothing. But some townies become best friends with my sims, lovers with my sims. Some of them get married to my sims. Some of them go to uni with my sims. And I like being able to decide when I want to do all of this, so that, townies don't grow up by themselves before I can, for example, get a teenage sim to get in a relationship with another teenage sim. Because, if they were aging by themselves, maybe that sim would maybe grow up before my sim does. And while with households that I do play in the neighborhood, I really pay attention to things like that. I don't manipulate ages just for convenience. With townies and NPCs, I kind of feel like I have the freedom to do that because I can always justify it with something in my head. Now, a couple of minutes or seconds ago, I mentioned feeling overwhelmed. And this is the last thing I want to talk about. Besides the obvious thing, which in my case is that I have been playing The Sims 2 for a very, very long time, and I had not really gotten into The Sims 3 or 4 ever, like properly. I had all The Sims 2 expansion packs for a very long time, and for The Sims 3 and 4, I don't have all the expansion packs at all. This is kind of obvious that for this reason I would feel a bit discouraged from getting into The Sims 3 or 4, because in The Sims 2 I know everything so well. I have played with most of the content, all the important things I have already played with and implemented into my playstyle. But in The Sims 3 and 4, loads of unknown things, loads of expansion packs to spend money on, no thanks. So yeah, it does feel overwhelming in itself, just the thought of so much content being out there that I do not even know. And that does scare me away a bit. And that's obvious and probably even more of a personal problem than everything else I was talking about before. But another thing about content and feeling overwhelmed is how I really kind of prefer less content but executed better. Less opportunities to go and do all sorts of really random things, and more meaningful systems that I can consistently use in my rotational neighborhood gameplay. And The Sims 2 has loads of those systems. The Sims 2 only had 8 expansion packs, and only one of those, Bon Voyage, is what's main content I don't use consistently. I think it did add more smaller things though that I do use, but I don't send my sims to vacations regularly. I kind of view holidays as a one-off thing, even in The Sims 2. So I'd rather have less content but actually relevant to my rotational game style than loads of expansive expansion packs you can buy and then play the content of once or twice. And yeah, I'm aware if I was like really good at playing The Sims, I could implement all of those extra one-off things into rotational gameplay as well if I was playing The Sims 4, for example. But again, I feel like for me it would be a bit too much. It would be a bit overwhelming to put up with that, especially if I had loads of families already in my save. So I do kind of prefer to just stick to the more regular everyday things. I do like to spice it up at times. I'm not saying I like all of my Sims to be boring suburban parents, but I also certainly would not enjoy being bugged with different things from different expansions all the time. I would not like any random tiny to ask me to go to freaking Batu. And I know that loads of these things are able to be modded out, and also that you can disable expansion packs. But again, I just get the feeling from The Sims 4 and a lot of the times from The Sims 3 as well, that it just does not cater to how I like to play. So yeah, that was loads of rambling. I don't know if anything I said made any sense. I wanted this explanation to be more structured, but I think I failed at that. Again, very sorry. It was a whole mess. But I think I mostly talked about everything I wanted to mention. So yeah, all of that is why I stick to The Sims 2 over The Sims 3 and 4, and why even if I may upload videos about The Sims 3 and 4 in the future in some kind of context, the main focus of this channel will always be The Sims 2. Hopefully that's what people sign up for when they subscribe to my channel. If it's not, I'm really sorry. And why did I tell you guys all of this? Well, one reason is, like I've said before, I want you to know why I won't really upload videos about The Sims 3 and 4. Only like occasionally maybe. And the other thing is, I just felt like talking about this because I really like talking, I guess. I am hoping that somebody out there will watch this video and agree with one or two things that I was saying. Maybe somebody out there will feel like, yay, finally somebody has the same weird personal issues with the later Sims games. And I also hope that this video can become some kind of a point of reference in the future. Whenever somebody wants to know my opinion on The Sims 4, why I don't like it, why I don't play it, I can redirect them here. And they can see that I do not necessarily think The Sims 4 is a bad game. Yeah, this is certainly what I want to close this video with. So yeah, the bottom line is I do not think The Sims 4 is an awful game. Much less The Sims 3. I know The Sims 3 is extremely popular. And even The Sims 4, I know there are many people who enjoy playing with it, despite its obvious flaws, which by the way, I also totally see, and I agree with other people who talk about The Sims 4's flaws and what should be improved in it. Yeah, I completely agree, but also I wanted to give my personal side because I think it's somewhat different from just blaming The Sims 4 for being a bad game and not having this and not having that. It's more than that to me. I feel like even if The Sims 4 was a much better game, these feelings I have towards it would probably still persist. And I would still prefer The Sims 2, as I always will. Right, once again, I talked so much shit. It's time to end this. I don't know who possibly enjoyed this video, but if you did watch it, congrats for getting through my rants, I guess. I would say let me know what you think down below in the comments, but please just don't go too harsh on me. Like, I'm curious to hear your opinion. I'm curious to hear if you agreed with anything. But if you disagreed with everything I said, please don't rip into me for it, because I said this was going to be nothing but my personal feelings. And this is still just a game at the end of the day, right? So yeah, don't go too hard on me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll go record something more constructive now. See you next time. Bye bye.